Welcome back. You were talking about the governors, lawmakers. So if I understand what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying, look, it's not enough, or them saying they should sack incompetent or sack security chiefs.
Yes.
It's papering over cracks. They can do better, and it's in their hands. How is it in their hands?
Now, the laws that set up these agencies, it's right there. Police, for instance. The Constitution says there will be one police force for Nigeria, the Nigeria Police, and there will be no other police. So, if that is what the Constitution says, and you feel, and there is a bill right now in the National Assembly for state policing. In fact, I wrote an article in The Guardian where we were talking about, before they passed that bill, to look at certain criteria, because they still look at it as, oh, politicians are going to use it against their political opponents. No, like I mentioned earlier, the laws are very, very specific. And in fact, the state police commissioner or head is voted into power. So it's not an appointment. So you find out that they report to the people. So what the National Assembly will do is to change that law. They can amend it and say that states can now have their own police, you know, and then put out the different demarcations on where jurisdiction ends. Now the state assemblies are going ahead and even passing laws to form neighborhood watches. And these neighborhood watches, by law, is legal, and these people are going to look after their communities. So I think it is in their hands. The SSS, for instance, Decree 19 of 1986 has stated it clearly there, that they are an appendage of the president and whatever directives he gives to them. It's not like that in the United States, because the FBI or the CIA, their allegiance is to the Constitution of the United States of America. Ours is to the president. So the president can commit any crime and he cannot be arrested.
Now tell us this. When we hear some people say, because only recently the governor of Zamfara was saying that, look, yes, he's quit his position as the chief security officer of the state.
Yes.
Though he remains the governor.
Exactly.
And I think he's the chair of Nigeria Governors Forum. You know, so, but practical terms, when they post men from the SSS and the police as aides to those governors, do they take instructions from the governor, or is still either from the head of the DSS or from the IGP, and by extension the president?
Constitutionally, the SSS is responsible for protecting the president, the vice president, governor, speaker of the House, Senate president, and some very important ministers in the country, including visiting head of states. That's their job. Now, when they post people to governors, usually they will take directives from the governor, because they are with him. They are with him. Those are the ones posted to him. There is a state command of security people who are responsible for that state, just like the commissioner of police for that state. But those people that are posted to the governor or the president or whoever work with that VIP. So they take instructions of what they are supposed to do from that same person. But they also report to their headquarters.
I'm just wondering, before we go, you know, when people talk about these arms that they use, how did they get the arms? Where does it come from? We don't even know how much of it is in this country. Do you think our security agencies have the capacity to trace what arms come into the country and where they are?
Of course, they know how it comes in, because they cannot say that they are not aware of how arms came in. I remember very well when Gaddafi fell, hundreds of trucks were coming all the way from Libya into sub-Saharan Africa, and they ended up in Nigeria, Niger, Chad, you know, and the security agencies were aware. And of course, those are the arms that Boko Haram, some of Boko Haram people are using now, you know. And in the Niger Delta, when the militancy was going on, there was this barter trade for arms and ammunition with crude oil, illegal crude oil that was mined from the pipes and whatever. So these ones are coming. We have West Africa. The customs have been able to, you know, sometimes intercept a lot of ammunition and arms coming in from West Africa. When ECOMOG stopped, a lot of our military that were there came in with their own personal arms, which are all in the society. So there's a proliferation that is very, very heavy in this country.
So can we then, if people assume that security agencies do actually know what is going on, they know whether or not people are using AK-47s to kill or not, they have that information?
Of course they do, because they can see it. And then, of course, sometimes they arrest some people. They should be able to trace it. You know, this is the only country I know where we don't do investigations fully. Otherwise, there was a time in Apapa Wharf where they intercepted some pump-action guns that came in. And that's the problem. We don't hear any prosecution. Nothing was said about it after some time, and it's gone. But we should be able to now dig in, you know, go down and then find out who imported these things into Nigeria and why they imported it, and then prosecute them and, you know, do what we have to do. Even
though I think the recent case is still in court, so we'll keep tabs on that and see how that eventually plays out. Mr. Dennis Omakwe, former Assistant Director of the SSS, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.